Recorded calls, it get tricky on this wall phone. Can't wait till the day that I come home. Doing time behind these walls, I wouldn't wish it on nobody. Life on pause, but the clock still rolling, hey. Stepping down on the gas, but feel nothing. Soon enough, you just get numb to it all. You can't walk this time off, don't get involved with the law on some real shit.
It's your boy, PWORLELO. Thank you for tuning in to Prison Files Podcast. Please hit that like and subscribe button for notifications of future fire content. Now let's kick back and relax while I take you inside the deepest corners of the California prison system. Hey, it's your boy, PWORLELO in the building. And I'm kicking this Prison Files Podcast off with a crazy one, man. As some of you may know, I'm here at EMF Vacaville Medical Facility. One of the individuals amongst other high notoriety individuals that's here is co-ed killer, Ed Kemper. Hands down, one of the most deranged, perverted, and all-out psychopathic serial killers California has ever known. You know, I mean, this man, you know, has admitted, you know, to killing 10 people, right? 2 of which is his grandparents when he was 15 years old. In my time here, unfortunately, I've had to coexist around this individual and other individuals or, you know, like this dude. So I kind of want to get into the topic of who he is now as to what, you know, most people see when they Google him and, you know, they talk about, you know, who he was when he did what he did, right? And he said, you know, that at 15 he killed his grandparents, then went on to kill 7 women and 1 girl, you know, in the 70s, most of which was by decapitation and dismemberment. You know, it takes a deranged individual, you know, to bring himself to the point to be able to do something of that caliber, man. It's insane. I never even heard of this dude ever in my life. Not until in 2019, I went into acute liver failure, and I was rushed to 4th floor Magoo unit in San Joaquin General, where I almost died, man. I mean, my insides were shutting down, eyes translucent, full jaundice. So I caught a bus ride to California Medical Facility. Still never heard of dude. It took me probably about, you know, I made maybe 6 months here until I got a job as an American with Disabilities Act worker, where I was helping the disabled. You know, and I would push the elderly to their doctor's appointments in wheelchairs, to the counselor visits, things of that caliber. And I was asked to push this old man in a wheelchair. I soon found out that that was Ed Kemper, right? I could tell you this, man, the individual that most of you may be envisioning at home is in seeing on Google and other social media sites, it's not him, man. They're doing a new documentary on him about his life and probably going to talk about, you know, where he's at today, the same kind of things that I'm telling you right now, and especially the ailments he's facing in his older age. But I could tell you, man, when he was sitting down with this producer, the relationship between the two was eerily creepy, man. Like, you see that this dude has like a cult followers that are fascinated with this man's crimes. With no further delay, I'm going to get into a conversation with a brother that works up there with him so he can kind of enlighten you on the living hell that Kemper is going through right now. Mikey, so give him a little backstory, man, of, you know, your situation, you know, how you got here, and then, of course, you know, running across Kemper, you know, your interactions today with him, what it made you feel about him originally seeing him, you know, how you feel about it now as the human being you are now and the growth that you do in yourself to be able to endure situations of this caliber in an environment like this where we have to be around these kind of people on a daily basis.
So I'm doing life in prison. I transferred 4 years ago from Pelican Bay to here, and I got a job called HFM. It's working in hospital rooms where I clean cells and you know, take care, do all the stuff they need to do with these people that can't take care of themselves. So one day, it was my first day there. It was during COVID. So, it's the COVID protocol, get suited up, how all that goes.
Yeah. So for my viewers that don't know, like during COVID, those of us that were critical workers, we still had to go around people that were infected. And we had to risk our safety. And the brother right here was one of those critical workers, man, that, went into these wings that were, housing infected individuals and put his health and his safety at risk. And so, of course, you got to suit up in, jumpsuits and PPEs, the protective equipment, the goggles and the gloves and boots. So, yeah, just to give them a little bit of insight. But go ahead, brother.
All right. So, it's a tier, it's a single tier. So it's cells on one side, going on the other. And I get to the last cell. It's the last cell, and they're like, all right, this is you. I look up, and I'm like, oh, no. I see his face, bro. His face and name. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I just left him today.
Yeah.
Go out watch a documentary on this dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I ain't doing that under no circumstances. Yeah. I had so much hatred in my heart, for him and what he did because I just seen the documentary.
Yeah.
But that being said, the dude that you see on TV or they talk about, that's not him
at all.
He's an old, decrepit man that sure he gets a lot of fan mail and stuff, but he can't even use the restroom by himself.
Yeah.
He needs help doing everything. But I refuse to do it, straight up. I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, that's how it was, man, with the ADA when they wanted me to push him to the appointment. At first I was like, bro, it's a culture shock. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't associate with people like that. I don't allow my energy to intertwine with people like that. You know what I mean?
No, because everywhere we've been and what we've done, our mentality has been and our experience has been, and I've got a life sentence for doing exactly what I'm saying. Is we hurt people like that. I got a life sentence in prison for doing something to someone that did that. And so I still had that anger in me and hatred. And I'm like, I refuse. It was a big old issue, right? Yeah. Get in trouble, so I refused to do it and all this other stuff. And later on, though, we was getting video visits.
Yeah.
I'm in a video visit, and I'm speaking with my child, my young daughter. I should say young daughter, and we're talking about different things. And I'm talking about how it consumes my mind, bro. And she showed me on her cell phone. She's like, look at these dots. They're everywhere out here.
Yeah.
Might as well stay in there if you're gonna let it consume your mind. Why come home?
Yeah.
And it's like it hit me, man, because like you said, we don't interact with these people. We try to hurt people like that the way we were before. But now I know that, or I've learned, you helped a lot too, bro. It's like it's not our place to do that. It's not our place to inflict pain and hurt others. It's for whatever reason they're here, and that's that. Well, but I tell you what, though, it's insane when you hear what people think about him.
Yeah.
He can't do nothing himself.
Yeah.
He's in a wheelchair. Well, literally. Instead, he gets fan mail all the time.
Yeah.
He's got all these crazy fans and stuff, and then he's like an old white man
defecating all over his
bed, everything. We have to clean it. That's like part of our responsibility is cleaning the stuff, which I'm not a fan of that, but that's what I get paid to do. And then in the end of the day, not to say for him, like it's rewarding to know that, like, even though they are here, they do whatever they do, we're doing things to help people.
See, and that's what I was saying earlier, man, is how can I allow somebody else's reality, the projection of somebody else's reality to intertwine with mine and my destiny of being a good human being, right? Just because this man committed his acts and he did what he did, right, and he's a bad person, and so why should those acts stop me from me being a good human being, right? And I think that's the consensus here is that, we want to do good and we want to give back, but it is so difficult in an environment of this setting, to have to overcome, the emotional attachment to what these individuals have done, see past it, and still stay true to our path as a good human being, and get our jobs done, And you have daughters at home, I have daughters at home, and I could not imagine having human beings like that in society lurking around the corners that could do those type of things to one of my kids, and not even just my daughter, any one of my kids, or my grandbaby, and I know you feel the same way. So that kind of goes with what your daughter was saying, is they're out there everywhere. So the way I've started to look at life is, I have to be here. They're here. They're already locked up. My goal is to make it home so I can be present for my kids and my grandbaby, my wife, everybody, to ensure that, I can shield them from those type of people and those situations out there in the streets. I'm doing them no good sitting in prison, And I know you would agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the fact that, people out there can still idolize this man and can still try to see him for what he once was, and the fact that they would even idolize that and think that that's something to be proud of, it blows me away, man. And I mean, I know I had to come to grips with, having to push him in the wheelchair and a couple of times take him to the appointments or whatever, coexist when he was in visiting rooms when I was out to visit my wife.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Still working up there and still having to carry out your duties and responsibilities within the realm of your job description, pertaining to that individual.
Well, it is, I shouldn't say enjoyment, but seeing him in the condition he's in and the suffering, it's not the suffering that the person's done to him. Yeah. I just believe that it could be karma or whatever, because he's not living a good life. He might have this image that he writes to these people and goes to these little visits and stuff, but he's not living a good life. No. He's suffering now.
He definitely is. And I believe, like I said this earlier on in the podcast, was that I believe that God has made him live out his years all the way up to the point to where he is at now, because he had to endure living hell for the decisions that he made and the acts that he carried out.
He's almost a genius too. Like, I've actually been able to have a few conversations with him. He's really he's smart dude, man. He's smart, and it's weird to say, give him the compliment when you have this other view of him too.
And it's so crazy, man. But I think that shows growth, and it shows that you can detach. You know what I mean? And I think it's really important to point out that if we can do that in here, man, living in society is a cakewalk. If we could separate ourselves and our mindsets in here from, the individuals that we know are, one of the most heinous and perverted human beings to walk the face of the earth. I'm not going in Safeway when I go home and looking at dudes and hitting them up like, hey, what? You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm in there with my wife and my kids, you know what I mean? And I see some dude looks like a creep, bro. I'm walking to the other aisle. You know what I mean? So the fact that we can live in here and know about these dudes and still, as much as we dislike it and look at them in a negative light, still be able to carry out our job descriptions that ultimately end up benefiting them and helping them, which is crazy for me to say, but now at this point in my life, man, it's just, I'm a grandfather, man. I'm a far cry from, the youth that I once was, and I look at life completely different, and I refuse to be trapped in an institutionalized mindset and allow myself to lose any more of my life in this prison when I could be out in society celebrating birthdays and Christmases and, school dances and graduations and college and stuff with my kids, you know what I mean?
Stuff we've missed our whole life, bro.
Hey, that's just 21 years for me. What is it for you?
Almost 20
years, man. So together we got over 40 years.
Yeah. And think about it, 10, 15, 20 years ago, we would never have done this.
Never, bro.
Never.
No, not at all.
Not at all. We wouldn't even be here. And then now we're here. This is the stuff that's going to help us be able to.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I think a lot of it too is this is the side of the rehabilitation that society doesn't see, right? Because CDCR, they could set up any kind of group for you to attend to, BRP, AA, anger management, but these are the works that goes unseen, right? These are the things that's not talked about. You don't get points for doing your job in prison, right? You don't get a chrono that stipulates, okay, well, he did this to overcome a mindset that was of a negative viewpoint to be able to get to appointments like where he can assist people in situations like that. You know what I'm saying?
That shows the biggest growth to me. That's more than going to a pointed class, or NA, or AA, or whatever the case may be. Being able to do it in real life and really carry it out in your actions, not just sitting in a seat and getting a certificate and interacting with people, but it's what you do when people aren't looking, right? What you do when you're sitting in that elevator, coming down that elevator with them, and you're pushing, you're alone with the dude, and then you're pushing him to his appointment, you know what I'm saying? And you're keeping it cordial. What you're doing when you're inside that man's cell, and you're cleaning up stuff that no human being wants to clean up, and then to do it for somebody like that, and you still find a sense of gratification at the end of a hard day's work, regardless of who it was, just knowing that you did good work. That's big, man, and I commend you for that. It shows growth. I've seen you come a long way. And yeah, bro, it's not easy, man, but it's and anybody in society, let me say this, any of my viewers, anybody in society, if they're out there, and would ever cast judgment on people doing stuff like this, you would have to put yourself in a situation, where you have people like that out in society. You don't like them, but if they did what they did, they're being held accountable. But are you going to jeopardize your freedom out there on the streets and to be taken away and come into prison by doing something to them out there? 100% you're not. You know what I mean? Nobody's in the right mind would. So, for those of us that have to navigate certain situations where there is people, like this serial killer, that's a horrible person, you know what I mean? And otherwise, in most places would probably something would happen, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to go out of their way to risk the opportunity to go home to their families by doing something to them. We're trying to live as civilized of an existence in prison as we can to get us to the stepping stool to solidify a foundation of return back into society and reintegrate as a positive citizen and overall a productive community member. So with that note, I always do end with any message that you have for the youth out there. So
I want to say something to you, bro. You're good at this. You're going to help a lot of people, and it's a good thing, bro. I've been here with you right now. Appreciate it. Love you, got a lot of love for you, bro. You're doing a good thing, man. You're doing it to help people, man.
I really appreciate it.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
60 seconds, bro. What's the message for the youth out there? What would you tell your younger self?
To my younger self? Yes. Focus on what matters. Focus on what matters. Do the right thing. Don't care what other people say, or if people you think, what are they going to judge me or whatever. Just do what you know at your core is the right thing, and life's going to be good.
100%, man. Couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate you, Mike. You have a blessed day, bro. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Prison Files podcast. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned. More fire content is on the way.